On that was patient. You had to be patient to get that outcome.
But of a really tough opponent. The season have proven in everywhere where I played, and his transition, his set pieces, the throw-ins, and how create damage. And we suffered in the first minutes, but after that, we played a really good game, especially in left side in the first half. In the second half, on both sides, we score. Jeremy is outstanding in many things, and different second half we put more players in the box. First half was not, and that's why we suffer a little bit to create not the chances but to be a final product, and at the end we take a great result and keep going. Jeremy
very much the star of the moment, isn't he? The man at the moment with the goals that he's scoring in the form that he's in.
Yeah, it looks like a final product already. Of course he can improve, but always had this incredible ability to dribble and to make this kind of action. The connection with Nico is extraordinary, outstanding, and but now it's winning games. So the people up front, not just a striker, not just Erling. Luke Omar today again, I'm so incredibly pleased because he gave us energy and always have a guy who score goals. So, and I had the feeling that not just Erling, as I said, so the wingers attacking me had to score goals, and Jeremy did, made this a step.
I know this is the outcome that you wanted. We've spoken quite a lot in the last 24 hours or so. But you hand it over to Arsenal now. They've got to show up tomorrow, haven't they?
No, see, so not it's in our hands. Before Everton was difficult, but the whole difference as well. But this was in our hands, now it's not. So, but what to do is our job. We didn't do perfectly in Everton. It was tough. But today come back, and Wednesday Crystal Palace. The team was going to play a European final. So last season always was difficult because they have extraordinary players and managers. So, but try to do our job and wait.
But the players, they're not giving up. Not suggesting that they would anyway. But the fight, the determination to take it to the final day
was the real proof. 1-3 down and emotions, and we play incredible first half. Second half, and we give away. So what happened last season many times, this season we're more solid in that position, but that game we give away. But it's football, it's happened. This guy, how you react, look to the mark, how incredible performance Nathan has done. So I'm really pleased for the way we have done it.
I see Neil Warnock's in town as well. Your friend, I know, who's at the training ground. He would have enjoyed that, wouldn't he, the last half hour?
Always bring us luck, Last season came against before Wolves and we won. It's always a pleasure to see him. Always is more than welcome.
Will you sleep well tonight then?
Always sleep well.
2 points behind Arsenal. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
And what that means is there is no room for error for Arsenal, including in that game against West Ham, which you would say is the trickiest of their remaining...
Yeah, I would say, because obviously West Ham are fighting to stay in the Premier League. Obviously, Palace got their final. But that's not an easy game.
No, it's more about the fact that they have something to look forward to at the end of the season.
Yeah. We've tried to predict all season. We've been asking this question since, I think it's November. We always expect Man City to go on a run. They've been unbeaten for a long time now, especially at home. I think that's 15 or 16 at home. Tomorrow, just a massive, massive game. Because we always talk about momentum, don't we? And then Arsenal open up the door for Man City. Man City go to Everton, the draw. But then it was the way and the manner of Man City got back into it. They could think, actually, we're still in it now. The win today against Brentford, and now the pressure's back on Arsenal tomorrow. I mean, if Arsenal were to win tomorrow against West Ham, I would say it's done. I would say it's done. But I just feel as though Man City, with their fixtures now, obviously they've got the FA Cup final in between, that's also tricky as well. Villa, you know what Villa are like, they can always perform in terms of the way they play at the moment. Some would say it'd be a bit better game for City because Bournemouth play it might be stretched, but they're a very good team. So it's still anyone's, Kels, without sitting on the fence.
No, but I think that's what's fascinating about it. And I think the question of City playing midweek weekend and Arsenal having a week's gap in between their fixtures at this stage of the season is one that I'd like to get your views on, because there's an argument for saying keep the momentum up, and there's an argument for saying I'd quite like a week's break in between, the games.
Give me a week's break. I don't want to play
you surprised
Saturday,
me,
Wednesday,
Micah.
Saturday.
You shocked me.
I need a break. I'm a bigger fellow, aren't I? You know what I mean?
Bigger fellow.
Not anymore.
A bigger fellow. I know I've lost a bit of timber recently, but...
Oh, you're looking good, brother.
In terms of me personally, I would just like that extra rest.
I think psychologically you would like the rest. There's a case for momentum. The momentum's good if you're winning, but you could be games and you draw it and you lose, and it's like, well, yeah, we'd like more time to prepare. So it goes both ways, really. I think, to Meet's point, if the West Ham game, if they don't win that game, then I think, you know, it changes everything.
Well, it's so psychological, and Arsenal last weekend managed to get that psychological advantage. Then they have the game against Atletico Madrid. And look, the Champions League has been more relaxed for them this season in terms of the nervousness from the players and from the crowd. But that felt like a really moment for them, like a release for them. And so I just wonder if that plays into tomorrow's game against West Ham.
I think so a little bit, because they're playing well or playing better. Yeah, it's still not really entertaining, but they're doing the job. Look at Arsenal's fixtures now. They're in Champions League final and the top of the Premier League. A lot of people were saying there was bottling it. Arsenal are not bottling. They need to get over the line, of course, but they're 4 games away from making history. That's all they've got to think about. I know it's easy. I said before many times on this, I didn't really deal well with pressure. Maybe you was a little bit different to me, and are always looking at results, and, you know, I felt that pressure before game. And that's why I always back Man City, because in the moments I felt they was better dealing with it. But then you have a point in the season where you beat Fulham, you beat Atletico, and that is momentum, and that could be the turning point for Arsenal.
I think the performance, I was at the game against Atletico live. The atmosphere was incredible, and I think the belief rose within the group. We also saw a different type of Arsenal in that they were playing for Gyökeres. It became the force of nature that we were anticipating he was going to be in the league, throwing defenders around, and nobody wanted it. So if you're looking at Arsenal now, going into open games, they've got different ways of playing. They can be chameleons. One game they could show up and it's a Gyökeres. The next day it could be a Saka. We're going to focus down the right-hand side. The next game it could be something different again. A low block. Yeah, it's whatever they're prepared to do. So I think they've got so many different ways to win. I think with City now, we know what we're going to get. We're going to get the other team potentially getting a few chances. Can Donnarumma, you know, save a few shots here and there, because they're playing a little bit more expansive, a little bit more open. And I think with Arsenal, they're keeping it a little bit more rigid, a little bit more, you know, we'll do whatever it takes. You know, we don't need to win pretty. We're prepared to do the dirty work if we have to. And I think looking at Arsenal now, psychologically, they're in a fantastic...
Can I just ask you one more question on these fixtures? Are we not at Bournemouth on Wednesday?
Bournemouth, no, we're at Palace, aren't we?
We're at Palace on Wednesday.
Palace at West.
We're Bournemouth next week. We've got them next week. I'm looking at you guys.
Yeah, Palace on Wednesday.
Yeah, we are. We're doing Bournemouth again, and then Bournemouth.
Yes,
We've got all our dates all the wrong way around, but we're at Palace here, so you can see it on. Yeah, you can see all these games unfold. 26 games now left in the title race, and in the rest of the Premier League season, you can see them all.
Erling, congratulations. How good does that win feel?
Yeah, it feels good, and good to win 3-0.
What did it feel like out there before Doku opened the scoring? Did it feel a bit tense and nervous?
No, I think we just missed the last shot on goal. We created a lot of things that was almost a chance, lots of crosses. We didn't get the last shot. So Brentford defended well, and I mean, they're a good team, so it's not easy. No games in Premier League is easy, so we are happy.
An assist and a goal for you. That's your 26th Premier League goal of the season. It's not half bad, is it?
I think it's all right. It's been an up and down season, and I'm trying to do my job, and 26 goals is it's okay. It's more than last year.
Look, you've got a busy 7 days coming up next week. Three very important games within 7 days. How are you approaching them, and what's the mindset?
I haven't thought of any other game. I'm a bit tired from the game that I just played, so how we approach it. And now don't think of any games until 2 days, and then try to win the next game. After that, recover good, focus on next game. After that, the same. After that, same.
Thinking of the title at all?
I think if you play for Man City, you think of titles every single day.
in the title race. It takes them to within 2 points of Arsenal at the top of the table. It boosts their goal difference as well, crucially, because it may well come down to that. And they've had players coming to the fore in recent weeks at times when, as you were saying earlier, legs are getting tired, heads are getting tired, and we're right down at the crunch stage of the season. None more so than Jeremy Doku, who's given them the goal to give the advantage and has been so important for them at this crunch stage of the season, Daniel.
He's been exceptional. The goal that he scored tonight was a thing of beauty. You know, in this area here, he wants to go 1v1. Of course, we know he's got the ability to go past him, but look, his thought is to get the ball back. He uses the defender as a guide, and he picks out that far corner. And that is the beauty and brilliance of it, when you don't have to think too much about the action or about anything. It's about how can I get my shot off. His reaction first, boom. And he guides it round the centre half there, number 22. For me, it's a brilliant finish. And, yeah, he perfected it now, man. That's 2 weeks in a row.
For me, Collins is in his position there. He wants to engage to go there, but he knows there's a player to the side of him, so he's sort of stuck in two minds there. And you're thinking he should be going there, but then you've got to compliment the finish because it was that good. And this guy is in such good form. But I mean, his goal against Everton again from a set piece, and you need someone to step up when you're not playing that well. We talked about composure in the final bit of his game. Yes, we know he can dribble. We talk about end product, and that's what we see now. What is that, 8 he scored this season? And that technique is just brilliant, absolutely delightful.
For me, that's a go-to finish for him now. That's 2 games in a row where you're doing the same thing. The repetitions in training pay off. You see, you do it 1 week, you get the feeling in your memory. Like when you kick the ball, you're in that area, you see that picture that you once saw. You're like, okay, you know what? I know where I want to put this. You don't have to think about it. And it's the exact same finish, you know, nearly. So it shows his game's progressing. He's becoming more decisive in those moments, and I think that's exactly what he wants to do. That's
2 really similar goals. Micah, how important are players like Doku at this stage of the season? Pep Guardiola loves to have a player come through towards the end of the season and go on a complete purple patch. And sometimes it's somebody unexpected. Jeremy Doku maybe less so.
Yeah, I think the way Pep likes to play, we all know, is all about control. But I think maybe in the last 6 weeks, Shirky's really stepped up, Doku stepped up, Semenyo does well down the right-hand side. So in terms of those Mavericks, they're coming to play at the right time, because in that first half, Man City didn't play well. You know, they were frustrated, but they can now rely on his individual brilliance. And when you talk about wingers all the time, when I'm up against these sort of wingers, you're always thinking, OK, show him one way because I don't think he's really good at one particular thing. But what now Doku's doing is able to go both ways and then produce a moment of magic. And when you're in these positions here, decision-making is so key. And it's not by any mistake that he scored 8 goals this season, because he's improving in those areas, and that's what we've always wanted from Doku. Yes, he's a young lad, but have you got the composure? Have you got the finishing touch? And now, you know, at the business end of the season, he's delivering.
And as you said, 8 goals so far this season, but 5 of them have come in his last 6 games. And that ability to produce when the pressure is on and when the time is right has been crucial.
Confidence is key for attackers. You know, it's the most important thing, in fact, because if you're doubting yourself, you're doubting your abilities at any moment in time, you're not going to make the difference. I think for me now, he's slowly becoming almost knowing I can do this. I can be a goal scorer. I think there may have been doubt before in terms of, OK, I've got to take my man on and supply. But there comes a moment where you have to say, OK, am I going to be a goal scorer? Do I want to become a goal scorer consistently? If I want to do that, I have to shoot more. I have to put myself in areas where I know I have the capability of hitting the target, because at the end of the day, your job is to hit the target, make the keeper do his job. That's what you're told as a kid.
A couple of assists in there as well for him. Just tell me a little bit about your experience of that, providing goals from a position of a goal scorer.
Yeah, I think psychologically it's very different, because if you're becoming the supplier, you're serving your teammate, you're hoping that you can give him what he needs. So for me, I would have played with the Didier's, I'd have played with the Nicos, the Fernando Torreses, these types of guys, and it would be even Suarez when I was playing wide, and it's a case of going, Louis, where do you want it? Or Didi, where do you want it? He'd be like, Danny, I need this, I need that. And I think for Doku, it's important for him and Haaland to build a telepathy of knowing I'm going to be putting the ball here for the midfield, number 10s. Where's the ball going to end up? I think for me, you can bank on him beating his man. Now it's about them understanding the areas where he's going to be feeding the ball. It always seems to be the cutback. He rarely smashes it across the face of the goal, which was my personal favourite on my weaker foot, my weaker right foot. And I think for him, his personal favourite is the cutback on his weaker left foot. So it's important for his teammates to understand if he's going down the line, he's cutting it back. If he cuts inside, he's going to be curling it towards the back post. It simplifies it for his teammates, it simplifies it for him. And when he cuts inside, you know he can take that. You've seen the 2 goals he scored, so you know he can do that.
It's really interesting because what we're talking about is telepathy. The way that you're describing it is just communication and hard work on the training ground and repetition.
It's key. And it's the conversations you have to have with your teammates to understand what they need. Similarly, with a defender, it's knowing, winger, this is what I need from you. You get that chemistry and you build that feeling between each other, Meeks.
Yeah, but because you played on the right, didn't you, at times?
Yes.
Especially early days against Chelsea. And you're left-footed, so you're going down this side. So Doku on the other side, obviously is right-footed, cutting in. How hard is it to get that chemistry with Haaland, though, because he's not on his strong foot?
Yeah. I think if you see me, I'm slowly going with the ball like this. The minute I go inside like this, you have to be ready for the cross that's going to be floated slightly. I'm aiming for the far post. If I cut inside as the winger, on my stronger foot, I'm aiming for the far post, almost like a shot, but it's easier for you to jump up and get a glancing header towards the far post. All you need is a little touch on the top of your hair. I got the high top, you know, got the high top now. So it's important to get that little touch, and it's an easier cross. When you're going down the line, you're in less control because you're on your weaker foot. So for him, the easier cross is to do the cutback. So, yes.
Listen, we'll get more insight on that because Jeremy Doku joins us now. Thank you so much, Jeremy, for joining us. First of all, congratulations on the victory. They're all good, but how important was this one?
Very important. We know that we needed to win after the draw that we did, and we did it. At the start, it was a bit difficult because we created some chances, but we didn't score. We know how difficult it is against a team like this, especially dangerous on set pieces. So we were happy afterwards when we scored, and afterwards there was more space, and then we scored 3 goals and didn't concede. So it's a good victory. We're happy with it.
Yeah, for a long time it did look like a frustrating afternoon. Just tell me a little bit about how it feels being at this stage of the season, having already won 1 trophy in another domestic cup final, having gone deep into the Champions League. You're now only 3 games away from the end of the Premier League season. It's been a long, successful season already. Tell me a bit about finding the reserves for that final push.
You're right, it's a long season actually, huh? But,
sorry, I didn't mean to make you feel tired.
Yeah, no, but at the end of the day, we don't need... When you arrive at this point, this is all you sacrificed for. You sacrifice everything during the season to arrive at this point. And then you always find some energy to push through, especially these types of games where everyone wants to be. We won already 1 trophy, we're in the final, we're in the title race. Was a better position. So we're happy, and trust me, we'll find energy to continue to push for the next games.
Jeremy, what about your form? You're in the form of your life out here. Goals, assists, everything. Last time we saw you, when we interviewed you, you said you're going to shoot more, and now we're seeing the rewards.
Exactly. I feel like, obviously, in terms of play, I always have been like this. But I always said, like, I know what my points are, where I need to become better, is to score goals. Assists I did, but more goals, be in those positions. And I remember last time when we spoke, I don't know, against Southampton, after Southampton, that I said sometimes I need to be more selfish and try to look for the shot. And I've been doing that. Obviously, you can shoot, but you need to score as well afterwards. So I'm just grateful that those shots went in. So yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy, especially with the victory and with the performances afterward.
Jeremy, man, you got to talk me through this goal, brother. It was a beautiful finish. You did the similar thing against Everton, right? Do you remember that feeling and the position of what you was in, and then it came to you again in a similar, closer area tonight, and you've done exactly the same? Talk to me about the repetitions of it, and then also talk to me about how you executed this goal.
To start with, so it's a short corner. I wanted to first dribble my player and then pass it in behind, I think, for Bernie or Phil, I don't know very much. But then the ball comes back in my feet. Then I felt like, okay, I have space inside. No one is coming at me. And I prefer to shoot in the far corner than in the other side. So I looked at the goal quickly, and then, I don't know, it was just instinct that then I felt like the technique is there to just hit the far corner with the right strength. And you know, sometimes it's difficult to explain because at the moment it feels so natural, and now when I look at it, I'm like, if I have to do it again now, I don't know where the ball ends, you know. So it's difficult to explain. But at the moment itself, it's natural.
And it looked completely natural. There was also a really lovely moment, Jeremy, with the celebration where you had a message for the camera, which we're just going to hear.
Yes.
So birthday celebrations.
It's his birthday. It's his birthday, and for me, I'm becoming a dad soon by the grace of God, and he sacrificed his life for me every time, bringing me to the club, every time bringing me, not knowing that I would become what I am now. So for me, that's a big thing, and him turning 60, and me having my parents every time with me. It's just, I'm grateful. That's why I wanted to give this goal to him and to Jesus Christ, of course. But having him around is a blessing. And every day I try to remind myself that. So it was just for him. Happy birthday to him.
Yeah, it's a really special moment and such a lovely privilege to have him there to watch you. And I'm sure be incredibly proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's a stock answer. It's a very good one as well. So 2 points behind Arsenal. They've both got 3 games left to play. It's Arsenal next, of course, away at West Ham on Sunday. And I just wonder, from before now and even now, that mindset of the experienced players, the leaders in that Man City dressing room, how important it was actually in that second half before they scored to just keep that belief and composure.
Yeah, they've got a nice little mix when it comes to that. I think someone like Erling Haaland, who works so hard, you look at him, he actually... Just saying to Ben there, we were discussing, like, he gives everything. And I know that's every fan at home would say that's the least you can do, but he does. And that's what you've got to do in these title races. You look at Bernardo Silva scrapping away in the middle of the park. Look, he's leaving at the end of the season. He's had 10 years. He's been ridiculously successful, but he knows that isn't enough. He knows he needs more. And then that allows for the likes of Doku, who needed a little bit of time to bed in. He's now becoming one of the main men. It was good to see Phil Foden coming on. Was it not for Queeve Kelleher today, he would have got on the score sheet. He made some excellent saves. But even Mamouche scoring at the end, you saw what that meant to Haaland. You need everyone firing when you're in the running. And when you're facing them in that situation, is it just relentless because you know what it means and how much they need that? Yeah, absolutely. He mentioned in his interview then, you know, it's next game, recover the next game. I think same with his attempts, his shots on goal. You know, he's missed a shot, it's the next one. He gets the next one, and he'll score one more. He'll get the next one. He'll score another one. So I think that's his mentality, and having someone like him leading that attack, and then the relentless players in around him like Bernardo Silva, Doku, in and around him. Yeah, it's tough to deal with, of course. What a week it's been for Doku. What a season it's been once he's got going. But they played an hour. It was 0-0. You felt they were looking for something special. He stepped up again. Yeah, he was just relentless in that first half, wasn't he? And everything you felt like was coming through him. Ironically, this one is probably one of his failed attempts, and that's what catches Brentford cold. Little 1-2 there, but then once he gets into this position, absolutely devastating finish.
It's a great finish, isn't it? Yeah, he's only got one place to really put that, above Hickey's head. We spoke here, a little bit of luck for Doku, but he deserves that, but he's sharp here in the reaction. And we're just looking at Thiago here, centre forward in that position, just wants to go on the attack, maybe thinks that Matty Jensen's going to nick it before Doku, but Doku's sharp, gets there ahead of him, and Thiago's already thinking about the front foot and going on the attack rather than sort of holding his position and maybe getting a block in.
Yeah, he's almost looking to trademark that now, isn't he? That is an absolutely brutal finish. And we saw a little bit of frustration at the end of the first half, didn't we? Throwing his arms in the air. Look, he put so many good balls in, and there he is saying, it's my time. I'm coming to the forefront, and he has this week. He really, really has for his team. Yeah, what a week, because had he not scored another spectacular goal, the last kick of the game at Hale Dickinson, then it would have been a different narrative today. Yeah, look, no title is given to you, and you've got to stay in it tooth and nail they're fighting with. Look at Donnarumma in that forefront. I mean, that is just chaos, isn't it? That's absolute chaos. But that's someone not giving up. 95th, 96th minute, just saying, look, the point might be enough. And that's how important that goal may be. That may be one of the turning points of the season. It just depends who wins it in the end. There'll be some, you know, is it going to be Declan Rice saying it's not over, or is it going to be Doku scoring that 96th minute?
Just in their moments. It's where the top players step up, isn't it? You know, the stand out, the difference makers, and he's certainly doing that at the minute.
Yeah, and Haaland is difficult to mark. You gave us that insight before the game, but he's just sometimes in the right place at the right time, isn't he? This came down the City right, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. You see Semenyo picking up the ball here, and Brentford have got a lot of bodies in and around the box as they have done most of the game, and they defended really well in general, but Semenyo gets that Keane Lewis-Potter here, not a natural left-back, but shifts it again, gets a run on him, pulls it back. You see Haaland's movement, he just pulls away from all the defenders and lets them all get sucked towards the 6-yard box, and he, similar to the first half, actually, with his chance that he nearly scored from, he kind of just drops off and loses Christophe Ayer, and yeah, he's there to get the rebounds, and it doesn't matter how it goes in, he's managed to get his first shot away and follow it up with a little back heel, cheeky one to bundle it over. But yeah, he's dangerous in those positions, isn't he? And yeah, even those count.
Yeah, brilliant. He's again another relentless performance from him. He was going to get that goal by hook or by crook. Obviously had some relatively simple chances by his standards in the first half, didn't take them, but as Ben was talking about with his mentality, it's always the next, and he'll keep coming.
Yeah, and as you say, who knows how important another goal will be. Marmoush got it, Haaland assist in this goal difference conundrum if it goes to the last day.
Look, just ramp it up. You're dealing with a team in Arsenal who've been excellent, and they've had a really good week, but there's no getting away from it. No one in that team has won the Premier League. So if you're Manchester City, what questions can you ask? Of course, you respect the fact that you're playing against Brentford today, and you've got to battle out the win in the first place. A 1-0 would be great. But if they can do this as well, again, getting Marmoush on the score sheet, an incredible finish, just send the message, put the ball in their court. Going away to West Ham tomorrow is going to be a tough game. And can you put that, put in that, I think that's 1 goal behind now, added pressure, and a fantastic goal late on in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great team goal as well. On the build-up, I think you mentioned it, Steve, in the build-up to the goal, the way they played out and found the pass, and Haaland providing the assist this time. So.
Yeah, and City just for the second time this season have got a goal from a substitute, and Marmoush's second Premier League goal of the season. But as Joe was saying, no doubt and debate about the star of the day again, Jeremy Doku. Right from the off, he was everywhere with a bit between his teeth his whole day. He
was electric, and obviously, like we talk about in the first half, he didn't actually get much chance to get a shot off himself, but just had his timing was there. You know, he's a very unselfish player. We just saw him feeding O'Reilly in there. He's always looking to assist as best he can. That's a brilliant ball for Erling Haaland. But these are the dangerous positions that he's picking up, and he's so sharp out the blocks.
I think for me, he's so sharp, but it's not even skills. He's just sort of nudging the ball and moving and going quickly and shifting that ball, manipulating the ball, and just goes, and he's electric, and it's so hard to defend when he can go both ways as well, and his end product is just improving each week. And you see there pulling it across for Phil Foden now, a fantastic save. But yeah, I think it's just his end product's just improving so much, and yeah, you just see it, his confidence flowing, and the finishes that he's providing as well. Incredible finish.
Yep, 8 goals this season, which has equalled his career best of last season, and 11 assists as well. And in terms of today, look at that. He was first for chances created, touches in the opposition box, and completed dribbles. Equal first for those final third passes as well, and second for touches and shots. He was absolutely everywhere, and he's had some week in a Manchester City shirt. And here are his post-match thoughts.
Jeremy, first of all, tell us about your goal. It seems to be a very similar goal to ones you've scored before.
Yeah, it looks a bit like the one against Everton, but yeah, we wanted to take short the corner. First, I go past my man, and then I want to look for the pass in between for, I think it's Bernie or Phil. Ball comes back, then I'm inside the box, and I feel like I have space to shoot. I do it without thinking, and I'm happy that it went in.
Is that how you feel you're playing at the moment? You can do things without thinking, it's pure instinct?
I always have been an instinct player, but we see today it's working out. I scored some goals, but if you look at the game, I always played like this, instinct, but now obviously the goals are coming, so now people are going to say, wow, but I haven't been a different player.
We saw you make that move a few times in the first half, but when you scored, was that the first time it opened up just like it did?
Yeah, I feel like after the first chance that I had when I came inside, the right back tried to really close my right foot, and then they came with two. So he opened a bit more the outside and wanted to test me with speed. So yeah, on the go, I felt like that was really the first time after that I had really the space to come inside, and then I tried to shoot.
The 3 points was the most important thing today, but once you got one, it seemed as though the team were really focused on, hang on a minute, we may need a few more by the end of the season.
Yeah, I feel like 0-0 against a team like that, especially how dangerous they are on set pieces, we know that we had to score. And when we scored the goal, obviously then there are more space, and then we scored the second goal, and we were a bit relieved, happy. But obviously then we also know that we need some goals. I was happy as well for Omar. He has been training hard, and this is the fruit of the work that he has been doing. So I'm happy for him.
You go again Wednesday. In between then, Arsenal play again. Do you watch that or do you leave it alone?
I don't know what time it is, but if I have time, I will watch. Obviously, I'm a football fan. I like football, so I will probably watch.
Willing West Ham along the way. And it's really interesting. They know they need goals, because winning a Premier League title on goal difference always brings a big smile to your face, Joe. So we ought to mention that, because your year is the only year it's ever happened. But it is a possibility this year between these.
Just cover all bases. Like I was saying, I think Jeremy talked about it there. First and foremost, it was try and beat Brentford, because they're a really tough outfit. They defended really well. They made it tough. They were stubborn. I think once they got the second and the clock started ticking on, they could start thinking about goal difference. And as he said before, it's so important that your whole squad's firing. He talked about Mamouche training well. They're the fruits of his labour, and he's enjoyed that today. And they're the little moments, Ben, in a squad when you know someone who's been struggling. It's only his second league goal this season. It's just nice moments. We all know Doku's playing well. We all know Haaland's playing well. But you want Mamouche scoring, you want Foden scoring. That's what takes you over the line.
Yeah, as an opposition player, when you're breathing a little heavily towards the end, shall we say, and you see someone of a £68 million striker in Mamouche coming on, that must be...
Yeah, Mamouche, Foden coming on, it's relentless, the depth of squad, but as Joe said, Mamouche is going to be needed. You know, towards the end of the season, he might be the one that comes on and gets that final goal to win it, but Phil Foden, we were willing to get a goal, weren't we? You know, when the second goal had gone in, we wanted to, try to see if he could, build a bit of confidence towards the end of the season as well, and then get him firing as well, because, going into the summer for England as well, for example, it'd be great to see him firing. The whole squad's going to be needed for Man City now.
I mean, we saw that the year they won it on the final day with Gundogan coming off the bench at half-time. There are stories and narratives in there.
Of course there are.
For players to have.
And obviously we've got the Man City story today. Tomorrow's a new day. We all know that Arsenal, it's in their hands. They'll have watched that. They'll be aware of what's gone on. But there'll be so much belief in their dressing room, and they've got Mikel who's going to be in their ear just telling them to focus on their own game. And look, on paper, that's the beauty of the Premier League, right? They go to West Ham, relegation struggling team. Arsenal should win, right? But that's not the Premier League. It's a tough league, and they're going to have to earn it if they are going to get over the line.
But mentally, they would have been expecting City to win, but hoping Brentford got something.
I think you allow... when I was in these situations, I allowed myself to be human for the 120 minutes, whatever, with half-time. You could allow yourself to be a little bit emotional, willing, if I'm an Arsenal player, willing Brentford to hang on. Are they going to score? Do I think that should be a red card? All emotion, watch the game, done. All you can worry about now is West Ham. You're a professional, you believe in your teammates, and that's your job to go out and execute a plan tomorrow. And it's just relentless, and it's such a privilege to be in that position. Arsenal are experiencing it for the first time at the very latter end of the season, obviously since the early 2000s. Feelings for them, new emotions, and how they react tomorrow if it is 0-0 at half-time. But you saw how City reacted, 0-0, calm, controlled, ready to go again. Arsenal need to do that tomorrow.
So it'll be the City players turn to be emotional for 100 minutes, wanting West Ham to do something tomorrow. But when you're at the bottom scrapping, even if it is the league leaders, it's equally as important, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Similar to what Harty said then. It's, you allow yourself to will the other team to have a down moment, and then, like you say, once you're in that zone, James says that you might watch tomorrow, but once you're in that zone, once that game's gone, you're back into focused on yourselves, and it's all in your own hands when what you can do.
And then we'll see which twist and turn goes from tomorrow. Do you think tomorrow's the defining day? Do you think if Arsenal win, that's it for twists and turns and the story's written?
I think that'll be a long way. There'll be a long way to achieving what they want to achieve, Arsenal, if they can win tomorrow. But there's no getting away from. They'll probably then have to turn their attention to City on Wednesday. And if City win on Wednesday, then Burnley at home, obviously expected to win, but then they've also got to think about going to Palace. So look, it's each day as it comes, each moment, each training session, each recovery session. That's how you've got to live. And then hopefully on that last day, you're lifting the trophy and then it all matters. Not because you've done what you need to do.
It's a brilliant weekend, though, isn't it? With all eyes on this for City. And the big question is, could they get back to winning ways? They have. Yeah. And now this enormous game tomorrow at both ends of the table. I mean, it's what the Premier League's all about. Yeah, it's a massive game. And, yeah, West Ham will be certainly up for it tomorrow. So, yeah, there'll be no givens there.
I was actually asked about them, is this their best season? And I didn't want to dive in because how they've done since they've come to the Premier League, you know, establishing themselves and really not really being a part of a relegation scrap is incredible. And now to go again, if they could get European status, then that really would be really a top season.
It's the point that, Joe, isn't it? After the emotion of Monday night and not being in their hands to respond like they did today.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's what he expects. He's allowed to enjoy it and he's allowed to interview like that, but he'd have been disappointed on Monday night, but back to business. Like Erling said, Erling Haaland after the game, if you're at Manchester City, you've got to expect to win. And whether that's from behind or whether you lead from the front, whatever it is, especially this business end of the season now, you have to perform, and they have today.
And it's that type of character of person they have, as well as the talent of player in the Manchester City squad.
Absolutely, yeah. Winners, competitive winners. You see the likes of Bernardo Silva in there and the mentality that they have, Erling Haaland and the likes of them guys that are driving the standard, the mentality forward. And yeah, the serial winners for sure. And players like Doku coming to the party at absolutely the right time.
Exactly. And, you know, Jeremy Doku talked about us again in his interview. He's almost probably been a little bit frustrated that he's being lauded over these couple of weeks because he feels like he's been that player for a long time. But you have to have the end product. And I know he's had that rammed down his throat, but he's been given time. And you know, the biggest compliment I can pay him, yes, he is a naturally talented player, but he's learning. You can tell he's learning. And he's saying that's his instinct now, but his instinct wasn't before to cut in and put it in that top corner. It was almost head down and kind of weaving past people. Ben talked about the skills that he's using now. They're not that eccentric. They're just very economic in how he gets past people. And now his instinct is to rip it into that top corner. You think of people like Ian Robben, even the great Lionel Messi, when he gets it in on the inside and manages to whip it into that far corner. From a goalkeeping point of view, I remember waving one in from Riyad Mahrez. You know what they're going to do. It's just you can't stop them. And if he can keep building on that, as well as his kind of inside-outside game, we've got a real top player on our hands.
And big moments at big times. Well, as we say, time will tell how big that one is at Everton. But today, after an hour, 0-0, and he produces that.
Yeah, absolutely. Top players come at the best of times and they stand up, and he said in the interview he didn't even think about it. He just did it, and that's confidence for him as well. He's stepping inside. He knows he's done it probably 100,000, thousands of times in training. He's going to pick it out. Joe mentioned the players that have done it in the past. Have spent hours just doing that, chopping in, quick timing, and difficult for keepers to get anywhere near them when they're bending away from them. So, yeah, his confidence is there, his ability's there, and yeah, he's showing it at the right times.
So if you're City keeper tomorrow, do you take the dog for a walk, or do you watch? What do you do?
It takes all different people, right? It takes everyone different ways. And don't get me wrong, if I had something important going on in my family, then I'd be doing it with them. But if I've got nothing going on, I'll have a little watch.
They'll all be watching West Ham. Title race is still on. Bye-bye.
Same network at 11:30 Eastern. For Arsenal fans, the simplest title scenario for them. They are guaranteed to win this Premier League title with 3 wins from their final 3 matches. West Ham away, Burnley at home, that's a week Monday, and Palace away on the final day of the season, which is, of course, Championship Sunday. This title race is not going away. Rebecca Lowe, Robbie Earle, Robbie Mustoe with you. Well, Robbie Earle, they did their job.
They did, and when you see the scenes at the end there, Bex, as they're walking around, I'm thinking of 2 things. I'm thinking of skill and I'm thinking of will. I'll talk about the skill as the Jeremy Doku, who's an outstanding footballer who can go left and right, can hurt you in a number of ways, and has come alive for this football club when they needed it. And the will is multiple winners, multiple champions digging deep, not allowing the stubborn, the physicality, the well-set-up Brentford team to be an obstruction to where they want to get to. And it's a lesson that has to be learned from other people. You can have all the ability in the world, but you've got to have that will and drive, and they've got a combination of the two.
Robbie, can I ask you, go on, first of all, what you're going to say about City?
I just, Pep's approach to the game, it was all-out, total football, and the attacking is incessant. Can you imagine trying to defend that team? Brentford, I thought, had to defend well, and they did. But it's got to be so difficult when you've got threats from the left side with Doku, you've got Semenyo on the other side, you've got Marmoush coming in the centre, Phil Foden coming in the centre. I thought Pep's got his sub spot on, and they got the goals.
Can we look at Doku and how, as Robbie said, he has come alive? Just this week, to be honest, had he come alive a little bit more a few weeks ago, you never know where they'd be.
Absolutely right. I mean, what a player he's been. And for somebody that the manager said didn't think he was ever going to be a prolific scorer, well, he's making him eat his words right now. I mean, some of these finishes, Rebecca, this is weaker side. I mean, the ability to hit very small windows, right? That one there was a very small window, top left, with his left foot. We see this one here. Again, Everton, look at the clock. Like, this is right in the last few seconds, last tick of the game. Again, a small window, right through players into the top corner. I mean, these aren't easy. These players make them look easy. I promise you they're not easy to get pace, to get the right swerve, to set it out around the post, to bend it back in again. And again here, this is not, I mean, that's so accurate. There's a player, I think it's Aaron Hickey, on the line. It's got to get over his head, apart from everything else. I mean, there's so much power and bend on that. And we get a lovely look here. Watch his right foot come around the ball. And that spin on the ball there, it's almost a little bit of top spin on it. He hits that with real power. I mean, talk about clutch.
I kind of think Bournemouth, because of the way they play and the high press and you know, they've got Krupi and Ryan and players in good form. They're looking for a possible Champions League spot. But what Manchester City did today was show us that I think most people believe there's still one twist in this title race. Manchester City today showed us we ain't going to be the ones twisting. We're going to go all out. And Arsenal have to do the same.
Plenty of people think the twist could come tomorrow at West Ham for Arsenal. They've got Burnley after that, then they've got Crystal Palace. Do you agree with that? Is tomorrow the big one for Arsenal?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, even that being said, Rebecca, we've been around this league long enough now, where even though the Burnleys and some of these games, Palace with the Conference League, there's still something that might happen. But tomorrow's game, I mean, for so many reasons, is the one where it's a London derby. You know, West Ham United, however you think about them, they have got some attacking options. Arsenal have to be rock solid and get on the front foot. Don't try and nurse it and be careful. Get on the front foot, attack, and they should win.
But how much will they be hung over? I don't mean literally from reaching the Champions League final. We shall see emotionally, physically. We shall see how Arsenal look tomorrow at West Ham.